Brits and Sovs.
Oi oi, you shiny metal magpies. Welcome back to the channel, the home of banter, bullying and bad impressions of British celebs. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa, maybe even a cheeky Jaffa cake. Though don't tell Sharon, she's rationed me down to 2 a day after I took the full pack watching Coronation Street. What can I say? Emotional telly that. Now today we're diving into a proper tasty bit of history, a little slice of shiny British pride, the 1992 Quarter Ounce Britannia. Yeah, that's right, a quarter ounce of gold. Back when people thought Noel Edmond was untouchable, Blur and Oasis were gearing up to have a scrap over who had the best fringe, and John Major was pretending a Peas advert counted as personality. Don't worry, we'll get to the coin, but you know me, I like to chat more than a cabbie in a traffic jam on the M25. But first, as is tradition round here, it's time for the weekly dad joke. Ready? Brace yourselves. Why did Britannia refuse to play cards with the silver coins? Because she didn't want to deal with all that change. Sharon groaned so loud when I tested that one on her. I thought she'd swallowed the Henry Hoover. Now, before we get into the coin proper, let's jump back to 1992, a year so chaotic. It made EastEnders Christmas specials look like songs of praise. Picture it, John Majors in number 10, trying to convince us all that back to basics didn't mean living on a diet of corned beef sandwiches and soggy lettuce. The Queen had her Annus Horribilis, which, for you lot who never paid attention in Latin, means a right old stinker of a year. Charles and Di split up, Windsor Castle caught fire. Honestly, the royals were having more drama than Brookside. Meanwhile, the rest of us were trying to figure out if Mr. Blobby was a fever dream or an actual menace unleashed upon the nation. And let's not forget, 1992 was the year we had the infamous Black Wednesday, the day the pound got battered harder than a cod in a Blackpool chippy. Economists cried, politicians panicked, and me, well, I was just happy because Freddos were still 10p. Simpler times, eh? Blur released Pop Scene, and Oasis were still rehearsing in some grotty Manchester basement, and Arsenal was still trying to play football without boring us to death. Beautiful chaos. Right, let's park the nostalgia bus outside the Tower of London and talk about the actual coin, because this one's a stunner. We're talking the 1992 Great Britain £25 face value. Imagine trying to spend this down Tesco. All right, love, can I get 400 pints of semi-skimmed and 20 scratch cards? You'd have the cashier calling security faster than you can say unexpected item in the bagging area. The label itself says 1992 G Britain £25. Fancy stuff, innit? Makes it sound like it should come with a side of scones and a Buckingham Palace tour. Then it says Britannia. That's our girl, standing proud, waving that trident about like Poseidon's little sister. She's basically the Beyonce of coins. If Beyonce had a massive shield and lived by the seaside. Then, here's the posh bit, PF69 Ultra Cameo. Sounds like Ether, a Star Wars droid or something you'd order at Pret. But no, it means this coin's nearly perfect. 69 out of 70, right? Ultra Cameo means the frosty design pops out from the shiny background, bit like when Ant stands next to Deck. There's only 9 graded PF69 and just 3, count them 3, that are PF70 perfection. Imagine being one of those 3. You guard it tighter than Sharon guards her Baileys at Christmas. Now let's actually take a gander at the coin itself. The front's got Britannia, our national lass, draped in her robe, holding that trident, big old shield at her side. Around the edge it says 1/4 ounce fine gold, Britannia 1992. Basically shouting at you, yes mate, I'm proper shiny, proper gold, none of that Poundland knockoff nonsense. The design was done by Philip Nathan. Bloke knew how to make Britannia look both classy and like she'd chin you if you looked at her funny. Respect. Flip it over and who's on the back? None other than Queen Liz herself. God bless her, looking regal as ever, pearls round her neck, giving you that don't muck about stare that every nan in Britain perfects after you nick the last sausage roll at a buffet. The writing says Elizabeth II, DG, Reg FD. £25. Translation for the non-coin nerds. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, worth 25 quid if you're brave enough to try it at Greg's. Imagine slapping it on the counter for a steak bake. Designer was Raphael Maklouf, who basically gave Liz that timeless look that ended up on loads of coins. Fair play to him. Every time I see it, I hear Land of Hope and Glory in my head. So yeah, what you've got here is not just a bit of gold, but a proper slice of 90s Britain. When TV was chaotic, music was about to explode, and we all secretly loved Mr. Blobby, even though we'd never admit it down a pub. Now, before I wrap up, let me tell you, I've got to shoot off. Sharon's at it again. She's banging on that I left the fish fingers in the oven so long they've turned into charcoal briquettes. Says she could flog them as artisan at Borough Market. Honestly, I turned my back for 1 second to film for you lovely lot, and suddenly it's kitchen nightmares. Gordon Ramsay'd walk in, take one sniff and scream it's raw, even though they're more burnt than me on a Benidorm holiday. Anyway, massive thanks for watching, you shiny magpies. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because every time you don't, Sharon finds another excuse to moan. Oh, Dave, maybe if you had more subscribers, you wouldn't have to stack Freddos instead of silver. Cheeky mare? So go on, give it a click, do us a favour. And as always, stack high, stay golden.